Hello, welcome to my channel. Those of you who know me, or those of you who have seen my other videos, and spoiler alert to those who don't know me or haven't seen the other videos, I like to cook. When I cook, I don't use plastic spoons. I don't like to use plastic spoons. I always use wooden spoons. The reason for this is I have a tendency to lay the spoon across the top of the pot or balance it on a little handle on the side. And if it's plastic, sometimes the flames will come up, they'll lick at it, they'll melt it, melts it to the pot. Sometimes it'll catch fire and you get those little plastic parachute things flying around your entire place. I don't like plastic near my food. I always use wooden spoons. That said, I had this laying across the top of the pot one day and happened to approach it kind of on a longwise angle. And I noticed that this kind of looked like teeth. And I thought to myself, wow, if I could just draw a little cheekbone in here, maybe drill out 2 eyes and a nose, I would have a wicked looking skull wooden spoon. So while I was thinking about doing this, and not actually doing it, just procrastinating about doing this spoon developed a crack. I don't know if you can see it. It's right there down the middle. There's a split, which put my project on hold. So recently I went out and I bought a 5-pack of bamboo wooden spoons. I don't know how bamboo is going to cooperate on this project. We'll find out. But I did wind up with these 2 spoons that I have no plans for. I was thinking maybe, this could be a Pac-Man ghost if it had a little squiggly bottom or something, but I have no use for a squiggly bottom wooden spoon. So if you have any ideas, feel free to leave it in the comments. In the meantime, I did get also these 3 wooden spoons. And one of them obviously is the one that I already had, as I explained. This one, I was going to do maybe a long wise skull with some long teeth and maybe eyes and nose up high. I don't know. And this one, because it doesn't have the teeth at the bottom, I was thinking, oh, we'll put the bottom jaw there and we'll put the teeth right across the middle. Same thing. And wind up with 3 skull wooden spoons for my next cooking video. How awesome would that be? So here's the wooden spoons, and on the back, you can see I drew the skull. On the back of this one, boom, drew that skull. And on the back of this one, we drew this skull with the bottom jaw. And now I'm going to take these into the other room, which some people might call a dining room, but there are no dining rooms in an artist's house. That's a project room. Any room with a flat surface on it is a project room. So there's a computer on it, there's easels with paintings, there's palettes, craft supplies. We kind of just push everything over to the side to make a little spot to put our plate, eat, and then project back in motion. So that's how it goes. That's what we're going to do. I realize I should be cutting this outside. However, it's probably like 12 degrees outside. It's snowing. There's already snow on the ground. And I'm not going to be shivering while I'm using a high-speed Dremel tool and holding this in my hand. Not going to happen. I'm not looking to lose a finger on YouTube. So, yes, there is going to be a giant cleanup that I'm just going to have to deal with. And I don't want you to panic. I'm promising you right now, you have my word. I will not be making a video of the cleanup from this mess. But yes, I'm going to have to sweep, mop, dust, the whole thing, wash everything with a wet sponge. I got it. But it's worth it for you guys. So let's get these clamped down to my dining room table, get the Dremel out, and start having some fun. Okay, we're clamped down. Got my Dremel here. I'm going to start with this sanding bit to take off these big pieces. Again, I'm not even sure if this is going to work. We're going to give it a shot. So yeah, once I get these big pieces taken off, I may switch to this smaller drum right here. maybe get in here and get a little more detail pieces done. But we're definitely going to start with this to try to take away the bulk. So let's do it. Hey, I just want to pause this video for a second to explain that I messed up the first spoon. So I'm not going to reveal it here, but I messed it up. I tried to salvage it. The reason that I messed it up was I had it clamped down and the camera zoomed in on it, and I was trying to keep my hand out of the way as I was filming so that you guys could see it. Some of the video you might have seen already. That's where I stopped. I unclamped it, and then I just free-handed it. I was switching hands back and forth, and I was able to get it to the point where I feel like it might be salvageable. I went to the store. I bought some sandpaper. I bought a chocolate bar because, you know, you need fuel. And I'm going to go back at it with different spoons now. I might get back to salvaging this one, but I'm going to be filming from a little bit further out, and I'm just going to be free-handing it. I'm sorry if I don't get it all in there. So I'm hoping for the best. Okay, let's get back to it. So this is the one we're going to be working on. I don't know if you can see that. I actually already started on the nose here a little bit. I'm free-handing it with this little tiny bit. You probably can't even see the tip. And yeah, I'm just going to freehand it out here. And I hope you guys can see as much as you can see. I don't like to have the light directly on it because I need to see shadows. So I'm just going to continue going at it, and with the record button on this time. And here we go. Just want to maybe draw a little something on here. Just finished adding some more little details to my drawing here, and I'm going to start cutting again. So I've got this done with the Dremel. I may go in a little bit more and do some more pieces, you know, cleanups. I finished 3 spoons. I mean, some people have already seen this one, so we're going to work with this one first, but I'm going to move on to sanding. So I have some sandpaper. I bought 2 different grits. There's the other grit. Let's see, I'm using 220 grit and 150. 150 to start. And then I'll move on to the 220. I have a toothpick and I have a paper clip that I straightened. I'm going to use both ends. This end is primarily just in case the toothpick breaks. And I've cut off some small pieces of sandpaper that I'm just going to, sometimes I wrap them into a cone shape. Sometimes I just roll them. Takes a minute to work it, get it right. There we go. So sometimes I just roll them like so. I'm going to get into these little spots in here in the eyes. Sometimes if I need a little stiffness, I will throw the paper clip in there. And I'll show you how I do that right now. I roll it more of a cone shape towards the corner. Like so, I get a nice cone going. And then I just shove the toothpick in there to give it a little more rigidity at the ends. And this is for these finer spots in between the teeth and the nose here. Like so. And this is going to be a long process, so I'm just going to get into it. Feel free to watch. And we'll see where we wind up. Okay, I just wanted to quickly go over the bits that we used in this project. So right here, over here we have, these are all just wood bits. They grind it away, they got teeth on the sides like that. Different shapes for different results. These were for mainly digging out like the eyes, the nose, you know, places with depth that were relatively wide. If I needed a sharper point on it, more of a refined edge, I would use this. I use this one on the teeth a lot, where I needed like, you know, a slope. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, like a V shape. So I cut it from one side and then I turned the whole thing and cut it the other way to get a nice sharp groove with a slope on both sides going in. And then they just get more round, right down to round bits. On my first piece, I started with these bits. I started cutting out the eyes, then I went down to smaller one, I did the nose. Then I tried to add detail in using the smaller bits. That didn't work out so well. Not so happy with the way the first piece turned out. That said, on the next two pieces, there's 3 total, I started with these smaller bits. Now, this one you can barely see. It's microscopic at the end there. But it is basically a microscopic version of this one, as are all of these. I don't know if you could see those either. And they just go smaller down in size. So on the last 2 spoons that I did, I started with these, drew out the detail, and then afterwards worked my way up to the bigger bits. Seemed to be the better way to do it. I also used these drums, sanding drums, to get the shape on the outside of the skull to shape the spoon. And sometimes you'll notice the shafts on this one are, these 2 are thinner. These 2 right here, this one and this one. This one's smaller. So sometimes you have to switch out the chuck, I guess, whatever you call this thing. Usually these come with the Dremel Dremel tool, come in 4 different sizes. Sometimes you won't get them. I guess if you buy a lower end one that doesn't come with a kit, you might only get one, but they sell them in packs of 4 because there's 4 different size, what they call it, shafts, I guess, shank. So that said, I want to talk about this microscopic bit right here, just for a second. When I went into the store, I was looking for a round-headed bit in a smallest size I could get it. That happened to be this one. But what I bought first was, well, I bought also, I guess. I was trying to buy 2 of these, just in case one breaks. And I bought this one. This picture right here does not show the shape of the actual tip. It's only telling you that it is a 1/8 of an inch shank, which means you would need this larger bit that we talked about before. But what I did notice was that it was very hard to see. I'm an old man. You can't see it through the package there. It is not a round tip. It is actually a barrel tip, which is similar to this, only much smaller, microscopic even. So what I did was, so you should definitely, if you can't see the bit, I guess, and you don't have a magnifying glass with you, you might want to look at the back of the package and make sure you're getting the right one. I then went and I grabbed this one, also again telling you here that it's a 1/8 shank. That does not refer to the tip. But when you turn it over, you can see here that this one is actually a round tip bit. So just be careful when you buy your small bits that are very hard to see that you're getting the right one for what you're doing. And that's it. Let's take a look at the spoons, how they came out. So when I first started this project, I had plans of having my design come right through to the inside of the spoon and be double-sided. I have since changed that plan because I decided I still wanted it to be able to be used as a spoon. So this is the business side, I guess you would call it, the concave side. So yeah, as you can see, a little bit of a difference on the profile here. Pretty significant actually, but still fully usable as a spoon. You're going to take a taste right off that end right there, not a problem. So let's flip them over. Here's the other sides. Before and after. Let's take this out of the way. Again, I wasn't really happy with this one. I did start with the larger bits and try to work my way down and work the details in afterwards, which proved not to be the way to do it. So wasn't 100% happy with this one, but I mean, I think it still looks good. I'm still going to use it. So then we moved over to the, I guess, forked spoon, spork. This is my original. It had the split down the middle. You can see the split is still there. Not much of a profile difference on the sides here. I did, dig in a little bit up there just to, you'll see when I turn it over, which is right now. So yeah, so if you look on the bottom over here, I'll show you. I actually turned that into 2 teeth to give it a wraparound effect. And yeah, I was pretty happy with the way that this one turned out. I learn as I go, so I did learn a few things that I'll do differently next time. But yeah, not much of a difference on this side. So here we are, without a doubt, my most used wooden spoon. Again, this is the business side. Not much of a profile difference here other than the small indents on the sides here. So let's flip it over and see what the other side looks like. So yeah, let's take a closer look at that. So yeah, this is definitely my favorite one of the mix, the 3. I thought I came out perfect. Yeah, again, still you learn some things that you'll change next time, but yeah, very happy with the way this turned out. All right, that completes our spoon project. I was happy with the result overall. I wouldn't call it a tutorial, seeing as I went into it having no idea what I was doing. I had a spoon and a Dremel tool and an idea, and that's what I started with. I told you earlier on that I did start this first spoon with the larger bits, working my way down to the smaller bits, discovered that that wasn't the way to go, reverse course on the other ones, started drawing the detail out with the finer bits, and then working up to the larger bits to take out the mass of the wood. That's one of the things I would change. I have some other ideas in my head, so should these spoons ever break, or should I decide to do this project again, we'll have some fresh content. So if you like what you saw and you had some fun, please subscribe to my channel below, and let's do some fun things together. Thanks for watching my channel. I really appreciate you guys being here.